Hi, I'm Stephanie Stanton. Welcome to Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, a full hour dedicated to your health and wellness. Get ready to bloom. I'm filling in for Gail today, but you'll see her throughout this show in some pre-recorded segments. Now, if you're like most people, stress is a problem. In fact, a Gallup poll found that 2 out of 3 Americans report feeling stressed. That is one of the highest rates of stress in the world. And for many of us, stress levels go up even more over the holiday season. Well, joining us now with 5 holiday stress mistakes to avoid is America's Happy Hormones doctor, Deborah Matthew. Hi, Dr. Deb. It is so great to have you with us today on Bloom.
Well, it is great to be here, and this is such an important topic to talk about.
Right, it is, and the timing too as well. Before we dive into all the presentation that you have here, let's talk a little bit about stress and how it impacts our health.
Yes, well, stress is really harmful to our health, and it also interrupts our sleep. So now you're wide awake at night thinking about all the things that you're stressed about.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle. Cortisol is actually harmful to our short-term memory. So you battle the lines at the mall and you get home and
And you've come up with a brilliant list, 5 tips to avoid holiday stress. And let's dive right into it. The first one, of course, we talked about eating, is not eating those healthy foods along with the treats. A lot of us are guilty of it. My kids are guilty of this. They want to dive right into the treats. So let's talk about that. How can we avoid that?
Yeah.
And you've got a great example here. You've got a spinach salad, some lovely tomatoes, but then you've got the candy canes and the cookies, which look a lot more appealing.
Yes,
My kids will be sneaking those.
Okay.
Moving on, another mistake is not scheduling that downtime, that self-care, that me time. And you've got something here to talk about that. What is this?
Well, this is Epsom salts. And Epsom
Does it matter
salts,
what kind? I've seen these and they come in different
they come in
varieties.
different flavors. They've got, it doesn't really matter what kind.
Okay.
If you read the label and the list of ingredients, you kind of want one that doesn't have a lot of chemicals in it. For
Another problem, and I struggle with this, my husband's much neater than me, is allowing too much clutter. So how do we cut back on the holiday clutter? Okay, very good. So keep it simple. You can still have a classy holiday, spread, I guess you could say.
Maybe half the amount of decorations out on the mantelpiece.
Okay, good advice. The next tip you have is trying to make everything perfect, and we should not do this.
This one, I think, is a really common issue. I think especially for moms.
I don't know. I did see some people's Thanksgiving tables, and I thought, I've got to up my game next year. So I don't know.
It's hard, isn't it? And it really is something that we're not always sort of aware of it.
And I see these gift bags, and I love these because these are lifesavers for me, especially with kids' parties, and even during the holiday. You've got some cute holiday decorations here because, I don't know about you, but I am a terrible wrapper. So, these are okay. This is the thing.
And it does make it a lot easier, doesn't it? Because it's easy to make it look nice.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for.
I love that. That is such great advice. And what a great gift idea. So here's what we're doing. We are going to eat our healthy food. Then we're going to go ahead.
We'll still have our treats.
Yeah, we can have a treat or two. Then we're going to go ahead and take our Epsom bath. And when we're done, we're going to write in our gratitude journals.
That's right.
That is awesome.
That's the prescription for less stress for the holidays.
Well, Dr. Deb, thank you so much. This was fantastic. It has been so great to have you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, wishing you a very happy holiday.
And you too.
All right, we are going to post this story on our website, and stick around. Coming up on Bloom, we have an expert to help you manage holiday financial stress when we come back. Let's talk about the stress levels of people. Stress is pretty high right now because we're seeing rising debt and also, a lot going on in the world. Talk about just how is this holiday season in 2022 different from previous holiday seasons?
I think as with the last couple of years of most of us, as we were talking about being inside, not being able to even go to our family gatherings.
Yeah, people definitely seem to be under more financial stress this holiday season than in previous holiday seasons with everything going on. Let's talk about budgeting. That seems like a no-brainer. How important is budgeting during the holiday season? And do you have tips on how we can do that effectively?
It seems like a no-brainer, but it's probably the most when I answer that question, do you have a budget? 90+% of the people say no.
I kind of want to raise my hand a little guilty as charged here.
So I try to throw the word budget out of the room, and we try to say, let's call it the napkin, or get out a piece of paper and let's actually look at specifically what are we spending per month.
That is a great idea. So you're saying, you know, set your budget beforehand, then make that list of, like, let's say Christmas presents. And then, you know, do you designate how much you're going to spend on each person? I mean, that's kind of what I do. I don't know if I always stick to it, though. But
and even so, not even do I think this year should we be focused so much on buying things, as we were talking a little bit earlier, is more so let's talk about the things that we can start giving to individuals.
I love that. Thank you for bringing that up. Making those homemade gifts or something that has a little extra special, something that doesn't cost hundreds of dollars. Thank you. That's a great tip. Let's talk about online shopping. Obviously, everyone's shopping online. There was a recent study that came out that said people were spending, what, like $9 billion on, was it Black Friday? I don't know. It was some insane amount for online shopping. Is that the best way to avoid stress and get the best deal? Yeah. That's a great idea. Need versus want. Like, do you really need this?
And that's going back to the online shopping. Are those things you need? Do you need a new phone, or do you need a huge TV? I mean, those are the shopping things online that I would stress to anyone out there. Need versus want.
We just have a minute left. With all of that great advice, how do we make it through the holiday season and then not wake up, you know, on January 1st feeling terrible, feeling guilty that we overspent? How do we stay healthy emotionally throughout all of this?
Sticking again to that budget will be the main thing, and not going into impulse buying. It's always just remember that the smallest things that you can give someone are many times the biggest thing.
I love it. Thank you so much, Michael. Such great advice on how to avoid that financial stress this holiday season. It's great to have you.
Their best.
All right, and we are going to share this story with you on our website, and stick around for tips to avoid holiday stress eating when Bloom returns. Welcome back. The stress of the holidays leaves a lot of us eating just to eat. Well, joining us now with the difference between emotional versus physical hunger is licensed dietitian nutritionist Wendy Wesley. Hi, Wendy. Welcome to Bloom.
Thanks for having me.
All right, eating during the holidays, like, this is going to be a good one. We have been waiting for this. Before we jump into some of the tips that you have, a lot of people tend to stress eat during the holidays. What exactly is stress eating?
It is managing emotions by eating.
Yeah, and what about cravings? I know cravings can be good or bad.
Right. Emotional hunger often says, you must eat this food right this minute, and it can be something like chocolate or chips.
You know, like, I don't know, this has happened to me, where when you're trying not to eat, like, you get a craving and you're like, I am not going to eat that chocolate bar. It just makes you want to eat it more. It's crazy.
Well, I also think that having a good environment, whether it's in your office or your home, just in case these emotions come on and you want to eat.
Yeah, that's a great, and I notice you put these out here. We've got, what, some healthy walnuts and some raisins.
Yeah.
But that's a great idea.
It is.
To have something like that. So when you crave that chocolate, you're reaching for that instead. Don't even bring it into the house if you can avoid it. I try to live by that rule.
Yes.
Let's talk about controlling emotions, because, you know, with that emotional eating, how do we control our emotions?
One good thing to do is, I ask my clients before we get together for our initial consultation, is to track their food.
Yeah, and that is such a great idea, because, I mean, when you're talking about all this right now, I think a lot of people don't realize how much their emotions are connected to what they eat. Before we go, you talked about the journal. I think is a great idea. Any other quick tips you can offer us to avoid not only overeating, but maybe overindulging during the holidays?
Well, I mean, when you feel these emotions come up and you are driven to the kitchen, one thing I tell people to do is pick up the phone and call a trusted friend.
Thank you so much. It is so great to have you on Bloom. We hope you have a safe and healthy holiday season.
You too.
Okay.
You too. Thank you.
Sure. And you can watch this story on our website, wfla.com/Bloom. And before we go to the break, it is time for today's Bloom trivia question. Okay, which one of these sweet and savory foods is vegan? Oreos, gummy bears, or chips? We will have the surprising answer a little bit later on in the show. Welcome back. The American Academy of Pediatrics says kids today are experiencing toxic stress. And one way to help them dial it down a notch is reading. Well, joining us now is the CEO of Reach Out and Read, Marty Martinez. Hi, Marty. It is so great to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So the first question, what does childhood stress look like?
Childhood stress can look differently for different children.
So Reach Out and Read focuses on caregivers reading out loud to children as a tool to help build a strong relationship. And it's also backed by the American Academy of Pediatrics. How does it all work?
Yeah, our model is pretty simple.
Yeah, and it's never too young to start reading to a child. My daughter admittedly would want to eat the book when she was a baby rather than listen to the story, but it's good to get them in that habit, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is, and any pediatrician will tell you the eating of the book, the hitting themselves in the head with the book, that's all normal.
Yeah, and as we know, reading out loud isn't only good for the child's health, but also it can reduce this stress in an adult by making them or making us live in the moment a little bit more and relax. Marty Martinez, thank you so much for joining us and sharing more about this fantastic program. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks so much, appreciate it.
And of course, we are going to share more about this story on our website. And stick around to meet a couple climbing the ranks of one of the fastest growing sports when we come back. Okay, it is time for today's Bloom trivia question. Which one of these sweet and savory foods is vegan? Oreos, gummy bears, or chips? Well, the answer is Oreos. Yes, that's right. They are technically vegan. Who knew? PETA even lists Oreo products as part of its list of the top 20 accidental vegan foods. All right, thanks so much for tuning in to Bloom today. I really enjoyed filling in for Gail Gallardo. Don't forget to follow Bloom on social media. We are also on all major platforms. And we hope you will tune in again on the next Bloom presented by Lifeguard Imaging. Bloom is getting you prepared and ready for the holidays, from holiday travel to fitness tips and avoiding overspending and overindulging. Stay healthy, everyone, and I'll see you on the next Bloom.